Hello again, everyone. Reverend Ryan Fay with St. Peter's United Church here, and I welcome you to our fourth video installment as we make time for God in Advent this year. As we approach the beginning of the fourth week of Advent, the Advent of Love, we are invited to engage with the Nativity story. For our activity today, you'll want to make sure that you have a Bible, something to write with, be it pencils or pens or a phone or computer, somewhere where you can express yourself in writing creatively. You may also want to get yourself a larger piece of paper or some newsprint if you want to make a newspaper article, as we will be making a news story, be it newspaper articles or news broadcasts, as if the Nativity were to happen today. We will be crossing over a little bit anachronistically, a little bit of a time overlap with the events as told through the biblical narrative and through our mediums that we use to express ourselves and to share news and good news today. So we'll either be using newsprint or a smartphone or camcorder or other kind of recording device to create a news story about the Nativity. You're invited to engage with family or friends or as individuals to get together and read and reflect on Luke chapter 2 verses 1 to 20 or Matthew chapter 1:18 to chapter 2:12, the birth of Jesus and the events that surround it. Take some time to reflect upon them and write some stories about what might have been happening in these stories. You could do editorials, cartoons, interviews, opinion polls, drawings, or just a very direct telling of a report on the story. Feel free to get creative and make it your own. Once you've written it out, you'll want to cut it out into various stories and align them in columns on a larger piece of paper, like it was a newspaper. Or you can get in front of your smartphone, camcorder, or other device and record a news story or a series of news stories that you can then share as if you were broadcasting the news of the events of Christ's birth and those things that happen in the world around them, around those times. And feel free to have fun with it. Get creative and see what you can come up with. I've come up with the two different ways that I could think of sharing several stories. So there's a newspaper layout, which you can see there's different reports on the stars or financial news because of taxation that was happening at the time, a cartoon, a marriage announcement, and a weather report, as well as a traffic report. So feel free to try that out, or you can try the news story that I'm about to share. Good evening and welcome to the St. Peter's News Network Evening News. Today, in financial reports, a new tax law has been passed. The August Caesar, Emperor of the Roman Empire, has decreed that all people shall be counted and taxed. Make sure and get yourself home. Don't forget to bring the wife and kids and make sure that you are counted so that you may be taxed. Don't lose your head and don't miss the deadline. Be sure to be on time. Make sure and beat the rush. Head home today. A mysterious star has been baffling experts. Astronomers and philosophers and religious experts have been uncertain where this star came from. It appeared recently in the night sky and seems to be brightly shining towards one certain region. When asked for comment on this particular event of astronomical phenomenon, the local client ruler, Herod, was reported to have said, "Just don't look up," as he urged people to ignore this particular star that he claims has been there the whole time, it just happened to get brighter. In related news, palace servants have reported that three mysterious strangers from the east were ushered into the palace for a late night confab with the client king. We're not sure if it's related, but there were also recent events shortly after the star was observed and after that meeting with the three strangers, where Herod issued several grim orders to local soldiers. Our news network will remain vigilant and keep you posted on all events related to this story. In traffic and weather news, recently the roads that have been provided by our wondrous Roman overlords have been packed with wayfarers trying to get home to be counted for taxation. Be sure to leave early and plan for a long trip. Recently, a caravan that ran off the road literally when a camel broke his reins and made a run for it was helped back on its way by Roman soldiers who were being sent to garrison up local villages, just to make sure that the extra taxes and extra counting were very secure. Thanks to the men in gold helmets and red cloaks, we're much safer and the roads are much smoother. In the weather for Bethlehem, keep in mind that our daytime highs will be the normal of between 16 and 13 degrees Celsius, with a nighttime low of roughly above 8. The weather shouldn't exceed 21 degrees. In the day, it'll be blue skies with lots of sun, and at the nighttime, travel will be made easy with that recent star that's lighting up the night sky and making the roads much more visible and a lot safer for travel. In happy news, a recent wedding has been announced between Mary of Nazareth and Joseph, son of Jacob, of the house of David in Bethlehem. The happy couple feel that their engagement has been blessed by the angels, and their date is set for as soon as possible. Tune in tomorrow night for more news on our upcoming events and an announcement of Colosseum activities. Now, back to our regular programming. So you see, there are two examples of how you can have different expressions and some creative ideas around our engagement with the Nativity story. Have fun with it, give it some real thought and some real reflection, and you can get serious or you can have a blast being silly. Let's engage with the story and try to see it from a different point of view from time to time. We look forward to engaging with our upcoming service on the Advent of Love, in which time we will have another experiential activity in order to delve deeper into and find ourselves in the Nativity story. Don't forget that our Christmas Eve service that welcomes everyone will be at 6:30 at St. Peter's, and keep an eye out for the announcements for our Christmas Day online service shared with our neighbors around Sudbury, and our New Year's service that'll be hosted on Zoom by our friends and neighbors at Grace United Church at 10:30 a.m. on January 1st. We look forward to seeing you all soon. God bless.
Infant holy, infant lowly, for a bed the cattle stole, oxen lowing, little knowing, Christ the